This Chinese social media influencer cries over seeing a bank and then slams Taiwanese people for being haters. But is she being too patriotic? Welcome to China Uncensored. I'm Chris Chappell. The Chinese Communist Party has raised generations of people disconnected from their own culture and history. And so, the Chinese Communist Party fills that gap with nationalism, because that's what the people really want. This way, the Chinese Communist Party can preserve their authoritarian power and keep the Chinese people from thinking about all the problems they've caused. Chinese leaders link China's greatness to participation in intensifying global economic competitions. So far, China's winnings from global competition have tremendously boosted national pride and confidence among the Chinese public and fostered even greater trust in the CCP. Which may sound great to the people in power, but this excessive national pride rooted in global economics sometimes results in very odd behavior.
大家好，我现在在法国的里昂，我就想说一个事情，当中国人真的太骄傲了。看看是什么？看看是什么？中国银行，中国银行啊！我们中国这么强大，在法国有咱们的中国银行，你就不知道我现在多骄傲。中国银行，反正我也不会表达，我就是觉得我很自豪。中国银行。
Okay, but it's not surprising that a lot of countries have a Bank of China branch. I doubt anyone from America ever travels to China and cries when they see a Citibank. Well, I cry when I see a Citibank, but it's because they repossessed my bike. I loved you, Greased Lightning. Anyway, that video was posted on Douyin, China's version of TikTok, by a young mother with a channel name Chinese-Belgian Mix Angèle. She sells cosmetics and posts about her life abroad raising an interracial family with her Belgian husband. The channel has 236,000 followers. Her Bank of China video quickly became her most popular video, with 220,000 likes. Many of the supportive commenters were also in tears. Now, there's nothing wrong with having pride in where you grew up, but Chinese nationalism pushes it way beyond the limit. People who grow up in China under the Communist Party's ideology are taught to wholeheartedly identify with China's economic growth, to the point where being a good citizen means applauding a Chinese bank on foreign land. But seriously, it's just a bank. And then, her tone changed from tears of pride to raw fury. I'll explain after the break. Welcome back. So the video of a Chinese woman crying over seeing a Chinese bank in France got a lot of attention. Like I said, many viewers were supportive and expressed their pride in the comments. But not everyone did.
我前几天有个视频火了，对不对？因为我在法国的街头，我看到了咱们的中国银行，中国红的中国银行。结果过了2天，我就发现不对劲儿，我的私系里涌现出一大批的骂的这些词，我以前从来都没见过。说过一些比较敏感的词啊，我不说。我知道了，这个新闻在哪火了？在台湾火了。怪不得有那么多的人骂我呀，骂的那个词我是不能说的。我就告诉你们这些喷子，你们这些什么渣什么人，中国只有一个。你骂我，我不怕。这个新闻呢，在咱们国内是看不到的，只有在海外和台湾可以看到。我再说一遍，使劲骂，我不怕，我强大，我们中国强大。再说一遍，中国只有一个。 你们是台湾省。咱们中国加油加油加油，中国最强大。
Yes, of course, all the haters must be from Taiwan. Should have known. It's hard to tell what made her so upset because she didn't explain what sensitive terms people were allegedly using. She yells so passionately that Taiwan is a province of China, but said herself that China has censorship preventing people from seeing the news about her, while Taiwan has full access. Don't think too hard about it. But according to news reports, most of the negative comments actually came from Chinese netizens, who felt embarrassed by the woman's feverish support of China. Comments on Weibo accused her of bringing up sensitive topics for clickbait. It's never wrong to be patriotic, but there's a clear distinction between true patriotism and toying with people's patriotic emotions. Whether this is performative patriotism or not, these emotions don't seem natural. Common sense is important. Patriotism is work. Making money is the goal. Going abroad is life. That's another tricky thing about Chinese patriotism and nationalism. Too much patriotism, and the people who you thought were on your side will shut you down. Meanwhile, in Taiwan, almost no one had even heard of this woman. I haven't seen any Bank of China emotional tears headline news. Don't make stuff up to attack Taiwanese people. Actually seeing her yell, "Our China, China is the greatest," makes me feel sad for her. She sounds hollow. I can understand that seeing things related to me in a strange place will give me a sense of familiarity, but it's excessive to attribute every little thing to your own country. By the way, as a Taiwanese, I really haven't seen any relevant news about this. The whole thing just feels out of touch. She thought she was supporting the Chinese Communist Party, but just ended up embarrassing herself. But just to add to the craziness, there's this. A video of the woman and her Belgian husband singing patriotic songs in front of a Chinese flag. Yeah, it's that song. But wait, there's more.
我今天很激动，因为今天是蛋的生日。我要说生日快乐，我很爱中国。
Is anyone else getting some Stockholm Syndrome vibes?
我的岳父是工厂党员，我的岳父岳母教育出了一个好女儿。
Are you using your Belgian husband to fix your broken relationship with your parents?
我爱中国是从我心里爱。我的心是中国心。
Okay, now this is a hostage video.
我还想和大家说，你们放心吧，小林和我在一起很幸福。
That just makes me extra worried about him. I'm kidding. I'm sure they have a very loving and fulfilling marriage. But look, one woman being super enthusiastic about her country is not a big deal. And I have no problem with her personally. The reason Angel's story went viral is that it represents how the Chinese Communist Party encourages this kind of excessive nationalism. To be seen as a good citizen, to raise your social credit score, a lot of Chinese people feel like they have to be extremely nationalistic and pro-Chinese Communist Party. And that is exactly what the party wants, to make people afraid not to love it. Who's got Stockholm Syndrome now? And finally, it's time for me to answer a question from you, a fan who supports China Uncensored on Patreon and Locals. Black Label asks on Patreon, I don't know if you've covered this, but how exactly did Xi Jinping come into power? Or hell, most of former leaders after Deng Xiaoping? Good question, Black Label. China does not have elections. When Mao Zedong called China the People's Democratic Dictatorship, he only meant one word of that. It's not democratic. The way Chinese leaders get into power is through a political process known as power struggle. Communist Party officials constantly fight each other. They make enemies and alliances and step on whoever they need to gain power. There's really no formal process at all. We don't know for sure why Xi Jinping won the power struggle. But my analysis is that he was seen as a compromise candidate. People in different political factions each thought Xi was weak and they could get him to do their bidding. They just ended up being wrong. As for other leaders, Deng Xiaoping took power by staging a coup. Jiang Zemin was a replacement appointed by Deng Xiaoping because Jiang had supported Deng killing students in Tiananmen Square. But Deng never really liked Jiang, so he then appointed Hu Jintao. So there were never any elections, just a people's democratic dictatorship. Thanks for your depressing question, Black Label. And thank you for watching. Please support us on patreon.com/China Uncensored or on ChinaUncensored.locals.com. And you'll have the chance for me to answer one of your questions on the show. I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching China Uncensored.